Matriarch, just like the program, or does it make it so that the shit's even playable? I mean, I'm down to set it up either way, but I usually just use the desktop Windows version of RetroArch anyways. Same jump, dude. 3 deaths. Restart the entire stage, man. This is one of those that rush would be good. Let's go to Dr. Light's lab.
Back, Mega Man.
Okay, Mega.
Yo, Mega! Can I interest you in some parts?
Can interest
Okay,
me.
Mega. What'll it be?
Oh, fuck you.
Are you sure? Ta-da! All ready.
Let's go ahead and buy one. Yeah, I just didn't know if it was like essential to play it. Shit, man. Yeah, I just pick them out one by one usually through the file browser. But I guess that'll make it easier. I just gotta snag the emulator we were talking about, which would be nice and easy, I'm sure. And then make sure I got the games we're after set up. And however the hell NetPlay works. Oh, you do? Okay. I'll make sure to do that too. If we do it later, I'll just take a break on the stream and just do it off stream. Get the full jump. Another ROM to start. Okay. Sounds good. Motherfucker, dude. Okay, so at least the levels, no, they're like way longer, still pretty fun, so.
Speed gear. Speed up. Speed gear. Speed up.
Motherfucker, dude. Let's see if I can do like a sneaky thing there. I'd love to get that, but
Speed gear. Speed gear.
seems like a bitch. Annoying fellows, dude. Jesus.
gear.
Oops. Move farther to the right. Oh, we can just do it like that, never mind. What's the point of that thing, dude?
Speed gear.
Does that cost more? I think it does cost more, a little bit.
Speed gear.
Fuck, man. Here we go again, boys, on this. I wonder if we can still get the tank up there. It's like one-time grab tanks, unless you can go back after you've beaten the level and got them. You gotta go get them. Crazy, they just got rid of like tank farming. I mean, I guess I didn't like ever like purposely farm tanks, but if you just game over it enough, you'd get a lot of tanks. So it's kind of like a way to give you a little out if you're getting fucked. I guess now you just farm money. But it's gonna make it more annoying on the wily ones.
Power gear. Speed gear.
Whoops. I was gonna start pushing right after I got pushed off. Plenty of rush always, I don't know, I'm worried about it. It was like nighttime and shit. Was it always nighttime here? Might have been. I don't know if the stages like change times of days or some shit. Okay, I was really hoping you could do that. The dream, dude. Same dude, I thought he was one up from there. God damn it, man. That guy's definitely like a more old school pit, man. Pit trap. Because he pops up way before you even know he's fucking there. Look how far to the edge I am right now, Jesus. What the fuck? Didn't even make it? Jesus, these are some tight jumps. Fucking life-based fucking platforming, dude. I hate lives, man. Fuck 'em. So cheaper right now. Oh, good. Being off screen doesn't mean anything in this. Not like it used to. Oh, great. Need to restart again.
Ready.
It takes like fucking 10 minutes to even get back there, man. It's so fucking long, man. Hope we're about to the end, though. I mean, holy shit, fuck, dude. Each of these stages is like twice the length of an old one, man. Feels like. Sucking sons of bitches, man. Boom. Yeah, it really doesn't, man. At this point, it's in Mega Man. It's just purely for the tradition. Some games try to do cool things with lives, but it's usually just like something that's just like odd to even exist. I don't know. Lives in Mega Man, I get. Because you can just restart on the stage, it's not like it's the worst kind of life thing. The worst kind of life thing is when it's way more arcadey and you lose the entire game. Like you have to restart the entire game. Like that's fucking insane, you know. Like, at that point, you're not even. It's not even about that singular challenge you died on anymore, because you're not gonna get enough practice. It's about just tedium. Lives, it's kind of like halfway, like in Mega Man. Like, yeah, you're still just redoing that one challenge, but the longer the level is, the less it's about one challenge, and the more it just turns into mindless bullshit. I don't know. I don't innately just hate lives, but I think lives are like a poor excuse for difficulty sometimes. They just aren't necessary, you know? Like, there's plenty of fucking platformers that, like, just get rid of the shit and you just do the challenge. Now, they're usually, I mean, some of those are, like, shorter themed kind of ones. Like Super Meat Boy is like just like one little fucking stage, you know, like one little room or plenty of checkpoints or something. I don't know. I feel like you could still just have checkpoint based shit in Mega Man and just make it harder. I don't know, I feel like that lets you make things just way harder if you wanted. I mean, I guess the one thing in Mega Man though is like you have like limited resources. I mean, just count those on the checkpoint. I mean, Or just refill your weapons if you like. Or maybe if you die on a checkpoint, they just give you like a flat amount of weapon back. Plus, if you had any like higher than that, like maybe like half your weapon or something. I don't know exactly. There's stuff you could do though. I mean, 8 just gave you all of your weapon back, and it was totally fine. If that's like too OP, you could just give like just 1 or 2 fucking ammo pickups every time you fucking die or some shit. And I guess then you could just farm. I don't know. It's one of those things with Mega Man. I guess it's kind of like deeper in the system. But I mean, 8 did it just fine with the game over checkpoints and shit. I think that was a decent way to do it. The game over checkpoints and just refilling your weapons and shit. That was like alright. Because these are as long as Mega Man 8 levels or more, and that's why they put them in there. Yeah, exactly. Just make them like, yeah, infrequent checkpoints. It would just be better. And then make the levels just harder than they even are right now. I've always liked that kind of shit. Just really hard shit, but you don't have to redo it. You just fucking have to execute. And for Mega Man, yeah, you could just do like a hybrid one. Just not like non-stop checkpoints. Just do 1 or 2. Yeah, I agree for the most part. It's like I'm trying to play devil's advocate and create like reasons and shit, but there's really not a whole lot. I mean, games have been created nowadays that are plenty harder than like most old shit that don't use lives. Like, I mean, tedium is a very old school way to fucking define difficulty, man. Luckily, this game's just like fun, so I don't really mind. But if I ask myself, would I rather just have a harder version of this level with more checkpoints? I'd be like, yeah, in a heartbeat. I just really take advantage of these like mechanics they're putting in here, like a lot of these interesting, like the bounce thing, and just really take it to the next level. Also hard because of shitty design, and that's one of them. I mean, that's the thing, is like we played like the old Mega Mans and shit, and you know, like some of the Mario Bros. And a bunch of other NES games. Games that are like supposed to be hard. I don't know, is Mario Bros. Supposed to be considered hard? Not really. You always hear Mega Man as the harder one. I guess that's true. I don't think the old Mega Men are that hard. I think people remember very wrong. The new ones have been way harder. Like easily. But I guess like Mario and shit wasn't really that hard at all though. Anyways, point is a lot of those, yeah, it's just like really weird design. Like a lot of those, what do you consider cheap shit nowadays? I don't know, a lot of people like, oh, you're just whining or something. It's like, dude, there's like real, actual, decent, good game design that exists. It's not just whining and you're not an elite gamer or some shit. Like, I'm not, I love a good challenge, man, but like, tedium and shit, just like wasting time is like, it's really a weird middle ground. And you could do like anything in a video game, so I like have a kind of difficulty that isn't fun. Now, I mean, on the other hand, you could argue that, you know, this big, like, endurance race is a kind of fun difficulty. And I mean, I agree on some things. Some things do cool, like, super long, like, endurance races in a fun way. But I don't know, a lot of that's, like, strategy games and, I don't know, stuff like that. I'm trying to think of other examples of something that has, like, a permanent fail state or game over, where you have to kind of like get better and do these these like long runs. I mean, achievements are good for that. I'm trying to think of just like a game that does it that's like entertaining. I don't know. It exists, I'm sure. I just can't remember. I'm talking like a new game. I mean, most old games have that, where you just lose and you get fucked. have to restart the whole thing and get better at it as a whole. I think it's better in something that isn't execution based. I think it's better, like I said, a strategy thing, like in XCOM. In XCOM, you lose the entire game, but you can go back from stage 1 and rethink the strategy from the beginning and change things from the beginning, do like a different run, you know. And there's other like little roguelikes, I guess, that kind of do that, but those are more RNG based. But like, I mean, I don't say I like XCOM's timer system that much, but at least from the beginning you're changing shit and you can do stuff. And if platformer, you could get better at the same jumps you did before, but at the end of the day, it's just like you repeating shit more than like really like a fresh gameplay thing from the very beginning. Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. I'm brainlet mode right now. Yeah, it's totally fine in certain types of games. Yeah, a lot of reflex-based shit, where it's about just getting over, like I said, like a singular just challenge. Like, nobody likes to, you know, accomplish something and then have somebody say, no, fuck you, I'm taking that away. Like, that's kind of how it kind of feels sometimes. Like, it's usually not a big deal, but some games do it pretty poorly. I think our thing that lets us knock back actually would have saved us there if we turned it off. Would have knocked me back on the platform, but like we're just finally getting back to that same challenge. I don't feel like any like sense of accomplishment for like doing the 10 minutes before this. It's just punishment is what it is, but I don't know. It's like I'm already failing on the damn jump and shit. It's interesting to think about, but I mean, that kind of shit. I mean, lives are all but gone nowadays anyway. Let's be real. One of the few platforms we've played lately that has them. Is there a reason here that exists? People like to whine. I mean, people want to look like badass and shit, you know? It's exactly like these Mega Man games. I'll go on an old forum that somebody posted, you know, just because I like to see what people say about the games I just played, you know, just out of curiosity. That's part of the reason I play them. People are talking about Mega Man, they're just like, oh, yeah, fucking old Mega Man, dude, you know, it's fucking all badass and it's hardcore, and if you can't fucking play, you know, this one, you'd never make it on the old ones. And I'm just like, you don't even know what you're fucking talking about, dude. Those guys who just want to sound like fucking boss as fuck, dude. They lived in the golden age of like hard difficulty. I'm more skillful than you or something. I mean, as long as difficult games are still being made, then I think it's fine. I think the only problem with like games getting babied down and that kind of thing becoming more popular is you might see less bigger budget or crazy, you know, ideas in the same vein as the stuff you used to like. Like, yeah, you get indie games nowadays, so it's fine, but you're never gonna see a AAA, you know, I mean, like a fucking 30-hour Mega Man game or something that has like bazillion dollars going to it. People just don't want things that are like that hard. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, people take their fucking entertainment. Everybody's got to measure dicks about something. Oh, oops. What the hell's over here? Hopefully anything I said just made sense there. What the hell is this pit, dude? This is fucking cancer. What the fuck are they thinking on this shit, man? Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't mind letting games be more accessible for people. You know, there might be something really enjoyable in a game, even without the difficulty being a part of it. Like having an easy mode and a normal mode, I don't see the problem. You know, like people are like, "Wow, Souls doesn't need an easy mode." Like, who cares, man? Like, yeah, that's the big thing, and I think people should try it that way first. You should always, I feel like you should always try it the way the developer intended it. It might be the most fine-tuned experience. It might be just really well put together. But if at the end of the day you just can't do it, then whatever, you know. Just play something, you know, do something else. Like you still enjoy parts of the game, but you want something else. You just can't make it, then that's fine. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Slots. I don't like it when it gets in the way. For me, just getting right back into the action's what I want. When the game's like, hey, fuck you, you suck, man, here's your shit. But like, please, God, like, leave it be. I think it'd be better if it was just like 3D land and shit. If it just, yeah, it was something you just turned off or had to maybe turn on from the start. I guess turn off. I mean, if you're pandering to somebody who's usually not very savvy, they're probably not gonna fucking wanna go figure out options. By moving the live system? Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Like, from a game design perspective, I can kind of see lives, why they exist, but I feel like it's just people trying to keep something traditional in and just finding ways to make it work, where just not having them sometimes just feels like a better call. Most people really want super difficult games anyways when they say they do. I think they want games with depth. I guess depth means different things depending on the game, but yeah. I mean, some people just like balls hard things too, though. I mean, I think the average Joe doesn't, for sure. I don't know, as long as they don't, like, remove that kind of thing, you know? I mean, I don't care if people like or don't like hard things, or if they just want an easy mode. As long as the things, like, those little niches and shit don't disappear, right? Like, I don't want every game to be easy because most people like easy games, you know? I'd rather not have anything stifle creativity or a good experience. I would just rather have more options. I hate when the shit gets narrow just to meet, like, a bunch of people's expectation. I'd rather just have more options, and there's so much money that goes in games and shit, I don't see why that kind of shit can't exist. Strategies and stuff? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the person. For me in a platformer, just having good movement tech, but then like really refined controls and stuff and polish and just, you know, no latency on the movements and just stuff like that is the most important. I guess level design and shit. It depends on the genre. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the game and the genre, I guess, and the person. It depends. I think there's just a lot of different people like different things. Because in Souls games, I only use one weapon in a Souls game, you know? I like one very particular style, and then I like just the feel of how it plays more than anything. And just having react and be quick and the general flow of the combat and stuff. I mean, some people get their kicks by switching weapons and trying different things out. If you mean like in like a micro way, like you can move around the fight differently and figure out timings and use different moves, I guess, I mean, that makes sense too.
Oh boy, a new
This is definitely an important thing that people fucking want.
Now it's time. Again.
I've got to fight.
Alright, we don't have much health. Fucking arms, dude. Holy shit, they should have just made it a fucking arms,
I bet you can't bounce that
arms
thing.
fucking tie in here.
Got it done. Speed gear. Speed gear. Can't lose now. Got it done.
Why is Brickman the hardest one, like, by far, dude? What the fuck was going on with Brickman, dude? Dude, see that little jingle? Sounds a whole lot like the fucking Marvel vs. Capcom 3, like, fucking victory or stage select, whatever it is. Thank God that guy was easier, because that stage was fucking long. What I think is, I mean, technology improves and shit, people always want more depth to their games. And people are like, I mean, that's such a big thing, though. You can say depth to, like, immersion, you know, like in Red Dead, you know, the amount of depth, like, the things you can interact with in the fucking level, you know, the world, and things that just kind of work together and shit. And there's, like, I guess depth of gameplay and shit, I don't know. Whoops, I did not see what the hell just happened there. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, is like, it's exactly like, for me, like when I'll play a game, you'll see me, I'll get salty as fuck, because I think it's just kind of like boring, or I think it's not like a very fun difficulty. But then I'll play a game that's like way harder, and it won't repeat, just because it's like well done, you know? And I think standards and objective rights and wrongs in games matter a lot, and some people like to brush over that shit just to like be like, oh, it's nostalgia, or oh, it's traditional. Like, there's some old shit in Mega Man that just sucks, and it's just annoying, and you can make a harder experience without it. It's just bad games. I mean, that's all it is. Like, I've gotten my ass kicked way more in this than most of the Mega Man games, and you don't see me fucking crying too much. It's just because it's fun. What's there is good, the flow's nice. I mean, yeah, it's punishing, but like, when you make a game that's fun enough, man, you like, it's easier to get over the difficulty. Or you might enjoy it. You gotta go back and do it harder, better, or something. I don't know. There's a stage of the stage, some difficult points with the boss was pretty easy. That's true. Yeah, they might be trying to balance it based on the stage, which I mean, smart. Yeah, if you want to get into that, shallow gameplays. AAA games have a lot. There's a lot of them that have very shallow gameplay. I mean, even Red Dead. I mean, its actual gameplay, like, it's really fucking shallow, dude. What is going on with this hair? Touched it so much, not just this greasy piece of shit. Jesus, my hair just getting everywhere. Yeah, I mean, I agree though. I mean, on that same note, we went from games that had more in-depth gameplay to less in-depth, like actual, just like control gameplay, you know, in favor of, you know, more cinematic shit, more movie-like stuff. I mean, people joked about, you know, cinematic movies and shit. It's a big joke, but people buy it, man. I mean, people do want that too. It's just that sometimes, rarely, you get a game that has the good cinematic shit and plays fun, and then people end up liking that, you know. It raises the bar. You can have, you know, it was like you have good gameplay, but now you have good cinematic, but now it's like you can kind of have both, you know, like it's possible. So like, I mean, just keep the bar, just keeps getting set higher. People are gonna complain about something every generation. I mean, some of it's just taste change all the time, but yeah, I mean, I think that depends on the game, but I mean, overall, absolutely. Like an action game, I want to have an action game with just fucking super great flow. In a David Cage story game, it doesn't matter, you know, it really does, it doesn't matter much. But in the right genre, yeah, some people worry too much about like weird shit and like platformers. Like the first thing that's gotta be first is the movement, the base movement. What are you gonna do the most, you know? That's what was cool about Breath of the Wild, is the shit that you do the most was still fun. Like the climbing was cool, the hang gliding was cool. There's things that you can do during like the most common loops of the gameplay that were entertaining. Like a lot of like big ones nowadays, like Assassin's Creed shit, you just kind of fucking waltz your ass around, you know, like, and it's just not very entertaining. I don't know, like in a platform, you want it to feel good, you want to have nice things for people to use those abilities on, like nice stages and shit. Hey, I want a fucking David Cage fucking Devil May Cry game, dude. But I don't know, like, yeah, it just depends. Like in Red Dead Redemption, it's not very fun to play, but it's like sells so well in other areas that it, like, you can get over it. I think that's one thing to think about. Is like some games end up being really good despite being really bad in like gameplay and stuff, just because of how well they do other things. You know, like Red Dead's world and like the tech and shit was like super good, but the gameplay's like pretty shit, you know. But it just was so good that you forgive it for a lot of faults. A lot of games end up like that though, where you're willing to overlook some things for other things, but then that over time wears off and you end up wanting a game that can do both. Yeah. See, that's the thing with Breath of the Wild, is I have so many complaints about Breath of the Wild, but I still think it's an excellent game. It's just like Red Dead, there's obvious faults, and it just shows there's still plenty of like room for improvement in like all games, man. Like God of War surprised me. God of War was this super cinematic tech demo, but it actually was like really fun to play. Like the combat was like really fun. Like I enjoyed it quite a bit, and it was like relatively fresh kind of combat. It's like weird over the shoulder battle system. Fresh, and I mean God Hand did it first, right? God Hand. I don't know. I mean, I just that kind of shit there reminds me that people can still make games that are fun, and that kind of like sets the standards different. Like I'd like games to be as fun as God of War and, you know, fucking cinematic as shit and all that. I don't always need one or the other. Like Mega Man, like I don't need a crazy good story. It doesn't matter, but if you're gonna try and do something, I don't want it to be like done poorly. Like Red Dead like tries to have gameplay that matters, and it's just not fun. I don't know. I mean, that's why there's so many different games, so many different genres and stuff. Like there's a perfect way to make a Mega Man game, and a perfect way to do this kind of game, and they're all just different. It's hard to like really brush stroke the entire thing. Entire fucking games as a whole. I don't know which one we want to do next. Fuse Man looks like it has a cool stage.
Welcome back.
Did we get nothing new, dude?
Yo,
Forcing these lives. It's money, dude. You have to buy your cars again or whatever. Insurance, dude. Dude, God Hand's fucking awesome, man. It's just fun. Just fucking silly ass story and shit. Fuck, I already had a drink. Alright, which one do you guys want next? Last Man's like a Night City. Acid Man just looks like a what you'd expect. Fuse looks like a storm construction site and then an ice place. I'm gonna go get a drink. Fuse Man? Yeah, that one looks the most interesting. How do fuses work? I don't even know what fuses are. Hardly. I mean, I know they're either where they're necessary and what the hell they are, but I don't like know what a fucking actual fuse. Like, what is a fuse? Then? I know their purpose. I know what they're used in. It's something to think about. I guess technology improves for games and stuff. What standards are too? Because I mean, what like back in the NES game days, you know, what was the most important thing? It was just gameplay and making like new concepts and shit, right? So I mean, visuals, yeah, matter a little bit, right? But game music, I mean, you only have so much you can do, so then it matters a bit, right? Like there's standout stuff. Story, I mean, you can't really tell a crazy story. I mean, but then you get, you know, your next generation, the SNES and shit. Well, visuals starting to look better. Standards are there. You have to have something that looks nice. Music's getting better. It's still mainly gameplay. You know, gameplay and new concepts and shit. We're starting to see these other things creep in. Then you get to like the next phase. It's 3D, so now things need to start looking more fucking real. And it just keeps getting crazier, and then you get to the point where things are almost like photorealistic, and it's like, oh, now you can make like a fucking Hollywood story or some shit. And it becomes like more of the standard. Like you still need a good gameplay, you still need all these other things, but since you can do all of these new things, now it's like you kind of have to. Like I was watching the those Halo documentaries, and they're like, man, it's just so much easier to make games back when we were making like Halo 1. You just have a group of 20, 30 dudes, and you know, just have a little bit of writing, and you know, just make like cool stages and shit. But now it's like, now that the 360 was the next thing in the other documentary had come out, and they're like, well, now it's like way harder, and you need way more money, and yeah, all these other things have to be up to par and shit. And it's cool. I mean, I guess just that. If we're talking general stuff. As a whole, I guess, yeah, there's more expected from the front end of games and stuff. That's why I really like indie stuff. Is you can kind of like remove some of those things. Nostalgia kind of shit. You can have something that's more focused on just like this one thing or that. It might not be the forefront always of like games and shit, but it's good. I feel like it's a really good time for games now these days. You get all different kinds of games and genres, and some games are really popular that you wouldn't expect and shit. And all different kinds of fucking graphics and looks and shit. I think it's just good. I think a lot of that's in part to like indie stuff and smaller ventures and shit. Because some games are just too expensive to make, man. So you do see these more like smaller budget things, and I think a lot of good stuff comes out of that. I don't know if I'm making any points. I'm just kind of rambling. I do think it's a pretty good time. It's maybe not the golden days where we had like 100 million great games. All the new AAA games were all these amazing trendsetters back in like the GameCube and PS2 days and shit, but there's just more now, you know? There's more coming out, I feel like. You just have to be willing to look a little deeper now. It's not, you don't have 30 games that everybody knows coming out. You have like 100 games that I've never heard of and you've never heard of, and they're hiding and they're good, but there still is those like forerunners that are also solid. That's cool. It's just a lot harder to, there's just a lot more now. Gaming's gotten so big. Early and late era games are vastly programmed a lot better with the NES life cycle. Yeah, seeing the improvements always cool. I mean, even just Mega Man. Mega Man 1 looked really rough and played pretty rough. And then you get to 2, and then just the visuals just fucking way better, and you know, the music's really nice. And then you get to 6, and they're trying like jetpacks. It's just like weird tech shit that it's just, I think it's pretty sweet. That's why I like starting with like older games and moving forwards in series. Trying to see like kind of those improvements and shit. See things like that just come into existence, you know? Seems cool. Yo, dude, River City Ransom surprised me. The 2 seconds I played at it, I was pretty surprised. Like, there's a lot going on there I didn't think was even a thing that, like, a lot of NES games did. Well, at least I can not beat 'em up, you know, that was cool. I'm really looking forward to playing that at some point. Yeah. It's cool seeing like other genres creeping into some, you know, games that were very, very focused, and you know, all these little like mechanics. I mean, like, 'cause River City Ransom has like, yeah, it has like, you know, like RPG mechanics and shit in it, and then it starts, you know, equipment and shit, and let's look at like action gameplay. And it's cool seeing people just deciding they can just start mixing these things in when, I don't know. I guess it's a time where there's just more new ideas. It's just easier to make like a new idea, I guess, because there's just nothing, you know. And nowadays, a lot of that's the standard, you know. Something new's gotta be, you gotta think outside the box a lot, or it's just maybe the quality of all the parts. It doesn't even have to be like a new concept. Like, you know, like slow-mo isn't new, buffs aren't new, but in this like context, it's like feels pretty fresh. Or back then, it like everything was new. It's cool. I don't know. It's hard to think about stuff like that sometimes. I mean, I try to when I'm playing the games. I think it's important, especially to understand people's opinions on it. But you're gonna have like modern standards and shit. You know, I can't be somebody who was there when all that was new. That's where something I feel like ages poorly. If a game's big thing was like a novel concept, and it's not very novel anymore, but the gameplay itself wasn't actually like that good or anything, then it's gonna age poorly, you know? Like Mega Man still plays good, like the old ones do. They still play good, so like novel concepts weren't the only thing. It's more timeless because what's there is nice. I guess that's like gimmicks, right? I mean, gimmicky gameplay and shit. Like some gimmicks are, you know, that's all there. Like it's a cool concept, but with the core thing, it's not there. You know, it's maybe like a platform for something else in the future. Yeah, some people do crazy work. I mean, I think nowadays is there's a huge, is the discrepancy the right word? I use that a lot. I should look up the damn definition of that. There's a lot of variance, I guess, in how games look nowadays. Disparity, I think, is what I'm looking for. Yeah, there's like a huge disparity in like a lot of games nowadays. Like, I mean, look at like Red Dead. I mean, it looks really great. And then you could also look at, I don't know, Nier Automata. It doesn't look that great, you know. Yeah, disparities I'm looking at. I mean, maybe Nier's not a good. Nier has good art direction. It just doesn't have like the actual like graphics and fidelity of it all. But the point is, I mean, there's some shit now that looks like something that came out early last gen, but then there's some shit that looks like just insane, you know? And it's just more like how much money they're willing to put into it nowadays, and the creativity and the tech. I feel like people, like, yeah, I mean, I feel like better tech would help. I mean, we get horrible frame rates, and you could just put out higher, you know, maybe higher res shit, but I feel like a lot of shit's just untapped, man. We're definitely at the end of the point where these consoles and shit can really keep up, but there is a huge difference in what people can put out, and I think a lot of it just ends up coming down to skill and shit. I mean, I guess that's any gen, though. Yeah, it's always cool. pre-built pieces and they are custom hardware. That's true. Still then, people need to figure out how to fucking develop in interesting ways or creative ways, I guess, on pre-built PCs. There's still like a big difference in like how games look and run and shit, even if they're all on the same platform. I guess that's a lot of that's just money and the minds and shit behind stuff. But do you think there's as much to figure out as back in the day, though? I mean, overall, it's still, I feel like, a step more towards a PC. Maybe not completely, like you said, but I don't think there's really no merit in that point still. Yeah, that makes sense. Just maybe not to the same degree as way back when, but it still exists, I guess, a bit. I gotta play through your game at some point last year. I have it. I'm pretty sure. The cubes, baby. Back when you were doing your game dev, man. I forget that I have the slow-mo. Oh, we're already on the boss, dude. What the hell?